Hi, this is Tyrone, and welcome to another edition of The Agent. This week's episode is titled The Other Models. Many years ago, I was at a model search, a model competition, and spotted a beautiful young woman in the audience that I thought was stunning and wondered why she wasn't in the contest. We spoke afterwards, and it turned out she already knew who I was. Someone had promised to introduce her to me, a former model had promised to do so. However, the owner of the contest, who knew her, be careful who claims to know you, said she was not the type of model I would be interested in representing because she was an exotic dancer, a pole vaulter, and not in the sense of an Olympian. Well, that did not deter me, as I knew she had the potential to be successful. So I begged to represent her and told them to send her to London to begin her career before coming to New York. Thankfully, they listened, and the rest is history. You see, within a few weeks of landing in London, she did what most models dream of. She shot one of the most iconic fashion campaigns for one of the most prestigious designer brands in the world, along with a 6-page spread in French Vogue. Talk about going from the pole vault to the pages of Vogue and Gucci, a far cry from her past. Another model comes to mind back in the late 80s, early 90s during New York's crack pandemic era. I had a model who was addicted to crack cocaine. The most loving and beautiful model one could see. Her heart was pure gold. But because of her addiction, we never knew if she would show up or not, especially for booking. As we tried to get her help, we limited her proposal to clients. As most times, I had to go out searching for her, mostly in crack houses on the Lower East Side of the city, especially in the projects, praying while knocking on crack doors that neighbors would point out to me, hoping that someone had seen her and that she was alive. Yes, it was a scary time to go into some of those places, but it was our job to do so. One day at a dinner party that Jesus was invited to, a woman from the other side of the track, the back alley of a fashion mall strip joint, showed up unannounced at the dinner with a jar of Chanel number 5. Not really, but quite an expensive bottle of perfume. As she stood behind him at his feet, she began to weep, wetting his feet with her tears, then wiping them with her hair whilst kissing them and pouring her perfume on him. While also at the dinner the religious man looked on, Jesus did not utter a word of judgment or condemnation to her. Instead, he looked at her and loved her. All these women were considered despicable by society, but Christ saw them as beautiful and even brought them into his own agency and claimed them as his own. While others shunned and reviled them, he gave them hope. Today we see other groups being targeted and wondered, where is the great commandment that Christ taught us? To love the Lord our God with all our heart and to love our neighbors as ourselves. Yes, our culture is full of judges. But Christ said, do not judge and you will not be judged. Do not condemn and you will not be condemned. Today, put away all forms of judgment and condemnation. Instead, show the kind of love that Christ has shown to each of us by loving the unloved, the reviled, and the despised, me and you. Until next time, have a blessed weekend. Shabbat Shalom. God bless you. Bye bye.